Oh,
Hamlet's
yeah.
out.
How you doing, cuz?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Oh,
How are you,
look,
gentlemen?
man.
I understand you came here from another podcast.
Yeah,
We
today
did.
we had an
How-
early one today.
How was that one?
That one was pretty rad. There was a fella named Clive, a very British man,
Yeah.
and with a fitting name.
Buddy, his podcast is out of Kamloops in BC, I'm pretty sure. I think Kamloops, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it went pretty well. It was good.
Yeah, he was.
That's cool.
Quite the
I'm strong. I've become very strong into plagiarism. What was the best question that he asked you?
Yeah, I want to know.
Oh, what was good, man? He asked me what I had for breakfast. No,
What'd you have for breakfast?
I would have loved if that happened. I would've told him
Cereal's the answer every time.
nothing. Beer.
No, he asked us like an influential record. What is an album that was like most influencing to, not just us playing, but just playing music in general. So that
Of
was
course.
pretty, that got us talking a bit. That was good.
Yeah.
Our answers were Zeppelin 2 and Super Red Known by Soundgarden. We had a nice little chat about those.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Good guy, Clyde.
We were time travelers earlier. Like it was like noon over there and 3:30 here. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good
Isn't
stuff.
Talking from a different realm.
Such a trip.
What an
Yeah.
awesome time.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it was good. He was cool. Cool guy.
Fun. Well,
How long have you guys been doing the show, by the way?
since April. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
So not too long, and it's been more of an extension of the magazine that we have, the Visio magazine. So it's not
Right.
where I put all my energy in, but I just love to have people on like yourselves who are unique, creative individuals. And basically, like the whole point of it really is to expose and explain the visions of your artistry and like why you're doing what you're doing.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I would love to know, like, it's great to know like who influenced and like who you love and stuff, but this is more so focused on why you're doing what you're doing, what you're trying to solve, if there's like any creative issue in your community like your music can solve, or if there's anything that it's tangibly doing it currently.
Right.
But I mean that's a good the question, Clyde. I'll give him some credit there. This is my podcast, so I'm gonna bring it back.
You did your own thing.
Yeah,
We don't
I
need
got
to talk about Clive. We're talking about
Let's literally leave Clive in the past where he belongs.
in the dust.
No, he was a nice fella.
Of course. But I do
That's
want to know.
that's something Norm Macdonald would always do. Is like just shit on somebody and they go, but you're a nice guy.
I love it.
He's a good guy.
So what exactly is so wild that you're trying to bring into your music?
We
taking this?
I'm throwing down.
Take it.
We have some serious.
I like it.
intensity. Our live shows, insane. They're
Love
nuts.
Okay.
The intensity is fire shit. Just even rehearsals are just nuts. It's like we're on this freaking locomotive that just won't stop chugging. Or do they chug?
I think so.
They chug.
I think they chug.
They chug. They huff. And they choo choo definitely.
Of course.
But
Of course.
We've been. I don't know. Like, I mean, we're trying to just keep it real. Make sure that everyone.
Yeah, I think like
rocks.
more so that there's like a lack of like authentic rock and roll in Toronto's music scene. Like we all like these like classic iconic bands, but like this rock and roll style, there's like some sort of dying sound to that. And that's something I think we all connect to. A lot of the music our parents introduced us to, stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge influence for us. And I think our music does have those familiar sounds to it. So that's something we want to like, a unique thing we want to bring in to Toronto's music scene and beyond.
We like to think that we have an original sound.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mashup. What do we call it sometimes? Sometimes we call it
Vintage modern?
Vintage modern.
It's this
modern.
thing I think you made up.
You
Vintage
think
modern.
of
So yeah, we're vintage modern, but it's kind of true.
Yeah.
It's kind of true. We have like an old, like we got some bluesy, we got oldness into our souls, but also we bring some new shit that you really haven't heard much of before, I think.
Yeah, I would say.
And we're trying to spread that love.
Yeah. Yeah.
The live animals love. Love starts with L, and so does live animals.
There you
That's
go.
Right.
That's a true
That's-
fact.
Yeah, that's
That's
incredible.
an astute observation.
And yes, incredible observation.
Yes.
Oh, so
Well-
this is your first album together, right? Have you worked together at all before?
Yeah.
We formed in 2017.
Okay.
We had one album prior to this that
Oh,
was
shit.
it was live off the floor. So I mean, like it's still like a fully produced album and everything, but
Mm.
we just recorded it a little differently. This time we had time to sit down, demo the tracks, single track the album and stuff, like just a little bit more time to tweak it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a little bit more creative in building the
More
songs.
production to this.
More
to this
production,
record,
yeah.
well, this EP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Last one
sounds
was
great.
pretty raw. Hey, yeah. You
Yeah,
enjoyed it?
sonically, I'm honestly ignorant sonically, but to my ears, it sounds top notch.
That's huge. That's in part because of our boy Harley Butt
Yeah.
with acrylic recording or acrylic studio. Acrylic
No,
recording.
you got it. It's
I know
recording.
my man Harley. Acrylic recording up in Township of King or King Township. I'm not sure. How
He's
that
out, I believe it's Kettleby. I think that's
Kettleby,
what
is he?
it's a little town in King City, but yeah, he's got a pretty rad studio out there. We've worked with him on the past two things we've done. But yeah, he's like the extended member of the band, pretty much.
He's our little wizard.
He's the little wizard for sure.
There's this band Dirty Loops, and it consists of a bassist, of a pianist, and a drummer, and they
Okay.
consider their sound engineer the fourth band member because
Right.
it brings everything together and everything's so digital
Completely.
now. Yeah,
Completely.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. He also we love to take his advice when we're recording. He gives up good great ideas like musical parts, any kind of
Yeah.
phrasing. Like he's like.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
he
any
helps us
good
write stuff
producer,
sometimes.
right? Like they do become the extended member of the band because they have
Precisely.
like all of this outside input. You make these things that you're so passionate about, and then you get a little nitpicky. You're like, oh, I love this, and it's like, do you love it? Because like we could change it, and then you're like, I don't want to change it until you change it, and then you're like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So it helps. It helps to have that.
Yeah, you do have to. You got to trust the engineer or producer or whatever you're working with your stuff. And give you some solid feedback, not just kind of be like, all right, we'll record you, get the hell out of here, I'll mix and master, boom. Like this guy's involved, you know.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
give and take.
Did you know Harley before? Did you show up there with trust?
No, yeah, so Harley, we met back in like 2012. I was taking a radio broadcasting course at Seneca, and then our drummer at the time was taking independent music production and met Harley. So I've known him for a bunch of years now. And so when he opened his studio, he was just trying to get whoever to come and, record and kind of cut his teeth with that stuff. So
Yeah.
we were one of the first, I think, bands that he had like done a full album with, and now he's like up and running, full fledged.
nice.
He does pretty good stuff. So
Nice.
this was nice to come back and do this other project with him.
Of course.
Mhm.
And I gained a great friend out of it as well. You know, me and Harley are like this now. We're like this.
Yeah.
Maybe not like this. We're like this though.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're like
We're
that.
tight.
You're like
We're
that
tight.
close.
I trust that man with my life now.
But that's a camaraderie needed when you're making music. Like that's the
Yeah.
synergy, that the level you need to be able to get to, and that only comes with like it's a musical kind of love. It's a
Yeah.
different kind of love. It's a musician love.
Totally, and it
Yeah.
helps too. Like when somebody like that has like such a wide appreciation for music, like he can take pop influence, country, whatever, and appreciate on a production level and songwriting level, and bring out all that into this recording process. And yeah, it's nice that way, right? So
Yeah.
He makes us better in a way. I hate to say it, but he does.
We'll
He makes us sound a little better than we do.
cut that.
You got that. Got it.
That's no one has to hear that. He's a small burden, and you have to put your foot down
that's
sometimes.
it. That's it. We'll keep
But-
that. cut what Andrew said.
Yeah, he's got good intentions. His heart's in the right place.
I thought this show was about exposing the truth.
Yeah.
No, no, you understood.
It's a true crime podcast, is it not? We're on a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
True crime, baby.
Honestly, I think I get more views if I like baited it as a true crime pod. I pretty much have to at this point. Like, it's all podcasts are.
It's yeah, that's true. There's a lot. There's a lot.
That's a fun idea.
Let's see how it works.
Yeah, we're gonna
So-
try.
Yeah, no, you know what? You're killing it already. Trust me. I think I just
Thank you.
followed you on the the Spotify, as I call it. I still call it the internet, or what's it called?
The World Wide Web.
The
World Wide Webs.
How do I surf the web? I have no idea. But yeah, I just followed you guys, and I'm looking forward to hearing more episodes as well.
Mm,
Yeah, of course.
But also, we're just digging being on today. This is fantastic.
definitely.
Yeah, it's great. It's always a great time.
Yeah.
I want to know though. So you guys are based in Toronto, like the
Yes.
core of Toronto or the GTA?
GTA.
Okay.
GTA.
Yeah.
We're kind of spread out. So
Yeah.
Andrew lives in Toronto. I live actually up in Barrie right now.
Oh, right on. Yeah. That's yeah.
So a little bit of a drive. The other
Yeah.
boys, one lives in Toronto as well, and the other is from Ajax. So we're a little
yeah.
bit all over, but yeah, like we rehearse in Toronto, and main,
Most of the
audience.
action goes down.
Most of
here.
the action. There you go, for
But
sure.
that's the thing. Like Toronto is definitely like a hustling and bustling place, and even if like you can just subway connects everything. For the listeners who don't know Toronto, it's kind of like a Canadian New York City.
Absolutely,
But
yes,
everyone
yeah,
kind of
sure.
knows Toronto.
The
But
little sister of NYC.
pretty much, yeah.
It has everything that they have, just on a smaller scale.
Precisely.
That's
And
how
we're getting
my dad always put it that way.
you're getting a Nobu too. So
Oh, boom.
moving up. Yeah.
I shan't pretend like I know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know because I'm indoctrinated as a woman. I'm being constantly bombarded by what Kim K does, and she
Oh.
goes.
man.
She goes.
So
to
it is
Nobu.
important then. It's
Yeah,
a big deal, is what you're trying to say.
it's a big thing. Sorry, but my point of this is you're in Toronto, and you mentioned before that you're kind of trying to teach the current music scene how to kind of be a bit more wild. And I want to know, what is the current music scene in Toronto right now? Like, what is the vibe? Like, what is popular? What are you up against?
Personally, I think I see a lot of hip hop, lots of R&B, like rap, stuff like that. That's pretty
Okay.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, shows and local shows, I mean, like that is still more in like our field of like rock and punk and all that stuff. But I just see there's like less people that are interested in going out to a local show, which kind of sucks. But I think that comes from that music where it's like there's, you put a song out on Spotify and there's no live element to it. Also, I think there's a lot of punk. There's a lot of punk in Toronto's music scene.
Yeah.
Bovine Sex Club, Sneaky D's, Hard Luck. Yeah, just a lot of those venues really like booking their punk bands. So I think that's why when I say we want to bring that rock and roll vibe, it's just that we still can jive with those genres, but it's our own little taste,
Of course. Yeah. You gotta go where you're tolerated, right? Sorry.
Yeah,
We like to call it heavy rock, don't we? Hard rock? Are we more hard rock?
I'd say hard
So
rock.
we're like
Yeah.
hard rock.
I like how you look at me for like reassurance. Like we are this,
We're
right?
hard rock. Well,
We are.
We always have to be kind of like simpático, if I could use some of my Spanish right now. We always must be simpático.
Yeah.
Drizzle it
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, it works. It's fitting.
Are
So
you guys playing hip hop clubs?
Not really, but we're like, no.
Well, I mean, like there's some clubs that turn into hip hop clubs, like the Revival that used to have rock gigs, and now it's like I see a lot more hip hop shows going on there. So there's a transition, but there's still like I said, some of the core, like Bovine, Sneaky D's, Hard Luck,
Yeah.
Lee's Palace. Those are like always booking bands, right?
And dude, but plus the scene and dude and dudette, the scene just kind of reopened back up, you know?
Yeah.
We were pretty hot on it there for a little while, and we were gigging all the time at the best spots, and then this whole shenanigans started, which is a serious deal in the world, obviously, but that we're just kind of getting back on the scene. Everything's open now. We're checking shit out. We went to the Monarch Tavern the other day for some punk band that was pretty solid. I can't remember their name.
D-Boys.
D-Boys. Well, I was just invited last minute, so I didn't know of them.
Yeah. You swung yourself a last minute invite for sure.
Yeah, I snuck a ticket, but I've been hitting some shows, but it's just kind of opening back up. So we're trying to get back on the circuit, you know, in a big way.
And not only is it's opening back up, which is good, but it's opening up in such a way that is so tumultuous, and it's causing such cognitive dissonance within people who would usually be your audience. That to say that will it ever fully be back to normal, who knows? But live shows and live music, as long as there's, I believe, humanity, I believe there always will be desire. You just gotta know where you're looking, right?
Well, yeah, hopefully. Sure. I mean, like, that was the thing that was kind of intimidating in a way, because when it did open, like, you go to these shows and you want a high energy show, right?
Yeah.
But they had it as seating. Like, most of these venues were having live bands with seating. And I'm like, well, how do we get the crowd into it? Are people even going to want to come out and watch a band if they have to sit down, you know? But
I have a neighbor buddy that lives beside me, and he's in like a kind of like, I think he explained it as a emo, screamo, Elmo. No, it's like an emo scream band or something. It's a Mo. He's a part of the Mo, the hashtag Mo.
Mo. Okay.
But he played. Talked to him like a few weeks ago. He was playing Sneaky D's this past weekend, and he's like, "All right, I got all these people coming, but they're gonna have to sit for this like metal screamo emo band. We're up on the stage going nuts, and they're all just kind of sitting there in chairs. Like, he thought it was gonna be pretty weird, which I agreed. You know, you don't want to really sit at those kind of shows. I think though they took the chairs away, so I think everyone was like, I believe so. I
think they have for most venues now. Yeah.
You have to sit on the floor.
You still have to sit down though.
It's like an assembly, you know. We all sit cross-legged on the floor and enjoy bands. That's the new thing. That's the new norm.
Yeah, if you've ever seen $1 Million Baby, it's like, get that chair out and bring me a beanbag. Because I'm not dancing around these.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's so did you ever was it clarified that they took the chairs away, or did you?
I think it's just from seeing.
An educated guess, I think. I don't know for sure.
Because it would be interesting. Well, why I asked, it would be interesting to know the feedback from what it was like at that kind of show where you had to sit. But again, I would have to do my own research for that, because that's a thought of itself.
I think they did take them out because it was like low energy, and it just didn't feel the same, because there were a bunch of shows back in like early fall. I'd say like late September, October, where it was all seated. And I think as soon as they got the green light that they could start moving up capacity and being more lenient on restrictions, they're like, get the chairs out. So I think some venues have made that switch. I don't know about all, but
it sounds like it's silly, because you're taking a risk when you go to a concert. Like, that's just what it is right now. Like, and it always was. Like, you might go get a flu like 2 years ago.
True.
Like, it's always a risk. I heard on the radio the other day that like all the dividers they have in restaurants actually like funnel dirty air toward you if you're sitting there for more than a few minutes. So like, you know, like we're not, you know, we're at risk. It's
totally
sitting down is not going to protect you any more than standing up.
I don't know if that plexiglass thing was the best idea, you know, because I don't know. I can't really comment on that, but I know that plexiglass must get pretty dirty. You know, you don't want to like fall into the opposite side of it, because you're going to be swimming in some guy's
I mean, I think like simple measures, like change the mic between bands when you're doing like multiple bands in a night. You bring your own mic, things like that. It's simple, right?
Keep your groupies to yourself.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
We share. We like to share.
Yeah, we always share.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You just have to show a negative test first. Proof of vaccination.
Yeah, we require it all, really. Yeah,
A little QR scanner.
You have a little back pocket QR scanner? Dude, that's some money making right there, buddy. You're a genius.
Dragon's Den.
Okay.
Please don't mention my name.
Don't tell them you sent us.
I feel like I have to wheel this in somehow. That's the right saying. But also love where it's going. But I do want to. Sorry.
May I? Sorry.
Yeah.
This chair situation, was that Sneaky D's?
The chair situation.
That I think, yeah, that's what my buddy was saying.
That's where your album release show is happening.
Yeah,
right?
but I will personally hand deliver all those chairs to the back dumpster if I have to.
Sorry.
No.
From what I saw, it was Bovine and Cherry Colas. And the last show that I saw Bovine put on, they didn't have chairs. So that's my hope, that thinking that these venues don't do that now. But I don't know about Sneaky D's. I'm hoping come our show that that's not the case. So
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and we got what, 2 months for things to get better or worse?
2 months, yeah,
definitely.
When's the show?
Yeah, when's the show?
When's the show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's January 29th. Saturday, January 29th.
At Sneaky D's.
At Sneaky D's.
Yes, sir.
BYOC. The C is for chair.
Bring your own chair or cane. It could be cane if you're old.
BOIC.
Bring your own cane. Bring your own cane. Bring your own chocolate.
Yep. There will be no chocolate available to you at Sneaky D's. You better bring your own chocolate.
That's right.
Bring your own crash cymbal. Crash cymbal.
Crash cymbal?
Yeah, I know. It kind of stumbled.
Crash cymbal.
It stumbled out weird. Bring your own crash cymbal if you're a drummer. Hey, why not?
Yep.
I like your version.
We traipsed a little bit too far there.
A little bit.
That's what I do.
I'm sorry, Adriana.
This is a horse and it shall continue to be beaten. I want us to sit in it. I want us to, you say that your sound, you'd say that your genre is hard rock. And that's when I was telling people that, oh, who are you having on Tuesday? I was saying, I'm having this band, they're live animals. They're kind of like rock and roll and metal. And they're like, so hard rock? And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the in between. Yeah.
So hard rock. And what, in your own words, you could say that there isn't any way, but in your own words, is there a way to define what constitutes hard rock? Are there any key words or definitive sounds or factors that when someone listens to it, they're like, yes, that's it?
Oh, yeah.
I think with grunge, especially, that kind of changed the game, and like from hair metal into this darker kind of tonality of what rock is. So I think hard rock is some sort of blend between traditional like rock and roll, what we'd listen to like 60s, 70s bands, maybe like Kiss or Rush, and then like some metal influence. So it is some blend. But I think heavier guitars, like higher distortion, the way the songs are written, there's heavier intensity behind all of that songwriting. I think that's kind of where I would define hard rock, but I don't know. What would you add to that?
I think it's got to hit hard. It's got to hit hard, but also with that, like that's why there's the hard part in the hard rock, and then there's the rock part, which also can be very sexy. So you can kind of dynamically play around with things. You can go soft, but then all of a sudden smash. Like it's got to smash. It's got to just hit hard sometimes, but then it can't always be doing that. Because kind of heavy metal does a lot of that, just punch, punch, punch. You know, just keeps going hard and heavy. Like there's rarely, you don't.
I think as well, like vocally, like heavy metal obviously has like you got like really grungy sounding vocalists and like screaming and all that stuff. Hard rock, you got, you know, like Chris Cornell, Soundgarden.
Yeah.
He can really rip, but he can tuck it back, and he's got a really nice voice. So you have that in between of singing and really grungy vocals. So
because I guess at the end of the day, everything is layered and everything is influenced by others, because those people in Soundgarden were probably influenced by classic rock from the 60s and what came from the 50s and became rock into the 60s, right?
Yeah, like the grunge scene was totally, that was their thing. That was like rock and roll, but like also a lot of jazz influence and a lot of soul influence. Like there was this like this unification, I guess, of music that they're all bringing these little pieces in and making like whatever this grunge is now. And then Nirvana's got a lot of punk influence in there too, right? So it was like this like anything goes kind of genre.
Anything goes. It's the 90s.
Yeah.
Try it all out. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I find that you really highlight the vocals, or you give, there's a lot of space for vocals. Maybe there's quite a lot, like, I don't know, fills, I don't know if that's what they're called, but like there's a lot of extra like vocal flair that's added to the songs. Is that like, that's obviously a conscious choice?
He definitely gives me a lot of room to dance around and play with, you know, sonically, dynamically, melodies, melodically, let me put it that way, a little sexier, harmonically, you know, all that. He gives me all this room sometimes.
Well, I think play to your strengths, man. Like you're a good singer, so like, yeah, there's room for you to there's room to rip, man. Of course, like you want the audience to know that you can sing that well, and there's room to do that, and there's room to tuck back.
But also in turn, I'm very cautious of where I'm to sing and when not to cut his grass and be singing over stuff that should be heard.
Nice.
I focus a lot of time on where best to have vocals in the song to accentuate and you know, show his strengths and make it a nice, you know, make it a proper tune and not just be spitting vocals everywhere, blah blah blah. Yeah, like it's one thing has to what's that word I'm looking for?
I'm going with balance.
Sure, let's go with balance. Things have to balance out.
That's teamwork. That's beautiful teamwork.
That's it.
So I'm like super musically ignorant. I'm like lyrics first. Like that's how my brain works. Are the lyrics a burden for you? Like, do you like think of it like in terms of the music first, or the musicality of it first, and then fill in the words?
Yeah.
Well, personally, the way we've done this process is that I come up with whatever riff. I like to demo things first. So I sit down and I track at my on my home and come up with like a demo of a song idea, and I'll send it his way. So yeah, like music is usually written pretty much first, and then he'll add, you know.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
I feel dumb.
And then go on.
Lyrically, your part, like when you're writing.
No, it's the funnest time of my life, sitting there and kind of searching my mind for what I'm feeling and the right words to put to that emotion or what I'm trying to say. I love to, you know, it's like a dance, man. It's a dance of all these words and phrases and how much can I fit here and how little can I say, and it's actually one of the most fun parts of the creative process.
Do you ever have like troubles coming up with a melody for a new song, or is like, how did melodies come to you easy?
Usually, well, shoot, I'll throw them in the headphones or whatever, and something will come out, some melody. Usually, sometimes I start with like, I'll have an end melody, like it's not even the beginning. So I have the chorus ready, but then there's all these verses and pre-choruses and there's a bridge, or I'll figure out a bridge part maybe. Then everything is built. It's sometimes backwards, sometimes it's forwards. I don't know. It's what I connect with a specific piece usually, like a specific portion of the song.
Of course.
And then I go off that, and then I kind of shoot. So that's why it's like it's always a new ride for me too.
And even if you have separate parts individually, but you work as a team. So individually, yeah, the process would be, as a writer, you can approach it in such a way, and as a musician, approach it such a way. And then when you come together, it's usually like the music and then the lyrics will come together. So it's like you individually can like think of the music or the lyrics first, but when you come together, you have to be on the same page at that point.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like there's sometimes where like rarely, but sometimes when he comes to the table with something and I'm like, oh, you're singing over there. Well, okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't expect that. But for the most part, anything that you've come up with, I'm like, yeah. That's it. That's good.
Yeah, he's always sending me every new song he sends is like the best song I've heard. Like I'm always like, yes. So and then I come up with the greatest thing I possibly can, and usually we're both happy with it.
It's been working so far.
So far. Is there any so just for the listeners, do you want to what is the show that you're doing on January 29th? Is that surrounding a release of an album?
Yeah, that's going to be the EP release, official EP release show of our recently released EP called Epiphany.
Yeah,
that just came out on September 16th.
Yeah,
okay, that's what that date is.
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that I know.
Yeah, it's a belated because things were shaky, so we released it and just like let's just get it out there, and we worked all year on it. So let's just stop waiting around, and then things opened, so we're like, let's do a proper show for this now.
Yeah.
Is there a song or is there a moment when working on Epiphany where you guys had to actually take a step back and kind of reevaluate or refocus on how you approach things together? Or was there any time where it caused kind of some contention between band members and you had to learn more about working together from that experience?
Yeah. Do you have a point?
Because I think I have.
Because he has words.
Sometimes
locked and loaded.
I'm already ready, man. Sometimes I don't have everything completely structured or written. Like sometimes I'm in the studio, I'll have like a half of the verse or one full verse, and then I'm missing the other, or I have an idea for something. Like it's not always 100%, but I usually ride on the seat of my pants like that. Not usually, but sometimes. And then I think one for Insane, I had this chorus idea that was a little too simple. Like it would have sounded great. It was pretty cool, but and everyone's like, okay, it's too simple. And I'm like, I know it's bloody too simple. And then they're like, yeah. And then so we were like, all right, let's take a break and just hold off. I think we did some recording that day, but yeah, we were like, all right, we'll just reevaluate. So I took a couple minutes or a couple days, and then I was like, all right, trust me, you're gonna love this next thing. And then we came in, and that was how the chorus is in the song Insane. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was pretty much what happened. It wasn't a butting of heads, but they were like, we might need a second. I agreed, and so we took it easy for a couple days and went back at it. Mine is that the last song we have is called Midnight Gospel on that EP. Okay. And musically, there's a lot going on already. So when he was writing lyrics to it and vocals, he came up with this 3-part harmony on the verse, which is ambitious, like, so he starts going at it. And then it was just, it kind of made the song take on a new form. And then I'm like trying to wrap my head around it, hearing where these harmonies are going to sit. Because now it's like, it's just pumping vocals. I'm like, I don't know if it should be pumping vocals. So yeah, I mean, like there was just a lot of discussion in how we wanted to shape that out. Now that the other part, the vocals are written, let's whittle it down and see where things are going to fit. So yeah.
Okay. I need a 1-word answer from each of you. Have you considered politics?
No.
No, that doesn't have a place in music for me.
You both got a future if you're so inclined. Those are very politically well put answers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, we had a lot of discussions about
It
that.
didn't turn into arbitration, but the mediation was necessary. Is that-
Everything turned out okay. Do you guys have individual veto power? Is everything democratic? How is it?
I would say
I'm going Democratic
We
for
usually
sure.
us two take a vote, or it's a discussion with us.
So
Yeah.
do you two drive the writing?
Well, yeah, this EP that we did, like it's only us that recorded that. We
Okay.
brought on a bass player and drummer in the past month and a half that we've started getting ready for the show and moving forward writing with. But this whole project was just me and Andrew.
Is that exciting or scary to introduce two new people to the writing process in the future?
Scary.
I think exciting because we'll always we still direct the ship, you know, we capitans.
That's why I'm saying it's
Co-capitans.
scary, because
But it's
then you
scary.
had two
They have-
people.
They have their own flair though, right?
Yeah,
They're
that's
always
all it
allowed
is.
to have
That's
their
all
own-
it is. That you get used to you're having one writing partner, and then you introduce two more into it, and then you your veto power does get less because you want to be democratic about
You
it.
lose market share in your own.
There you go.
business.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. So I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just a change.
It's just a change. And are you ready as a duo to be doing that? As I'm speaking to you right
Well-
now, it definitely seems that you approach things with different personality types and different filters and different ideologies and different
Yeah.
Hairstyles.
styles. But at
So
the
you
end,
noticed.
you're kind of stereotypically like a hilarious sitcom duo. Like, and it's so. But
We've considered sitcom writing.
He's definitely
He's gonna
Kramer.
be good.
He's definitely the Kramer of the band. Yeah.
So I can understand how there's definite
Certainly not
creative.
the Elaine.
You know how that ends with Kramer on stage.
Oh yeah, I
Right?
never compare someone to Kramer anymore.
Yeah. You don't want your
Yeah,
front man to be
yes.
Kramer at the end of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Well, at least Kramer's entertaining, is he
At
not?
least Kramer's under.
There you go. There's always
I can-
something to love.
Yeah, that's what he said to himself before he got canceled. So
It just
Oh shit! Oh, I forgot that whole thing.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never
Yeah.
mind. Not like
Him
Kramer.
him and Mel Gibson are hanging out on an island together.
exactly.
Like,
No Kramer's here.
banish them. But it definitely seems like you approach things creatively different, but you work together and you create. So that means that there is a camaraderie, there's a love, there's a friendship, and there is at the end of the day a respect.
Mhm.
And that's something that, of course, it would be kind of wearisome to bring other people into that because it's something that you two developed on your own together. And but you know, being a lot of bands bring on extra bassists or extra drummers
Yeah.
or whatever they need. So, you know, when the time is right, do what you need to do. Apparently this turned into a therapy session.
Oh, I
Kinda segue.
sort of misspoke as well.
Okay.
Well, not exactly. I spoke what I spoke. It's the same thing.
No, you can clarify.
This guy, especially because he's writing the guitar parts, and then he's got to deal with directly writing with the drummer and the bassist with the song. Like
Okay.
I try not to, like, unless I need to, and I can guide something in the right direction. He usually, you know, he's writing the music most of the time, like with the new guys. So when I was like, yeah, it's exciting, and I'm freaking, it's he has a lot more work on that front, I think. Would you say?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because with this EP, I programmed the drums. I didn't play the drums, but I made them on the recording program or software that I use. So yeah, there's a control. Like when you hear something or you play a part, you have an idea of how you want those drums to sound. And I always have that idea. So when you have a drummer and you play the part and then he doesn't play what you want him to play, I'm like, well,
You have
I
a Van
mean-
Gogh moment.
exactly. I'm like, you guys, you could do this instead, but you try to be as open as possible because then it's not fun for everybody. If you start being this dictator, it's just not fun. So
Was it a conversation whether you should keep it like the two of you in a touring band or open up, and like add on permanent contributors?
I think it really wasn't. I mean, like the whole like getting studio musicians or whatever to just come and play, that gets pricey first of all, and there's just something a little bit more fun about having
your own band,
a unison band. Yeah, that way everybody's excited about it. You're not playing the dictator role. Like, yeah, so it's nice having 4 guys excited on the same page. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and at least now we know that we can just together make incredible music. But it's also nice, well, in my opinion, anyway. But it's also nice to have other guys to play with, and for them to write, add additional tastes and stuff.
Yeah,
kind of does change things a little bit, but it's still we're still at the root of it,
And they at least know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No one's
Well,
showing up
they
with,
really.
No one's showing up
Well,
with a heavy
no,
polka
not
influence.
with him. I mean, I was friends with them, and I introduced Healy to them, so they were like, "Who the hell is this guy? He's nuts." So I had to, I'm just kidding.
I'm crazy like Kramer. I don't know, man.
No, it was a good transition. Like everybody like got together right off the bat, or got along together, I should say. So it was good. It's good.
Yeah, we've been clicking pretty good.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of writing new tunes as well. We got like 2 or 3 new tracks on the go.
Mm-hmm.
One of the tunes off the EP is called 13. It was just acoustic, just me and him rocking. We've turned that into kind of a full band song now, so it's taken a new shape, and it's sounding pretty rad, man.
Yeah.
That was a late addition, right? The acoustic one.
Yeah, very last minute.
Does it feel important to have an acoustic track on a hard rock album?
In a way, kind of. I mean, like I liked the way we approached it, because it was our studio producer guy that we've been working with, Harley. We had the 3 songs, and he was like, "Boys, this needs a 4th song." And we both wanted to do a 4th song, but it's like we just didn't have it planned. So he was insistent. So I was like, I always like those stories of like famous records that have that last minute track that wasn't supposed to be on there, but like everybody's fit, So I'm like, okay, Healy, let's take this on. We're gonna make that. We're doing that. We're gonna make this song last minute and see how it goes. And we wrote it in an afternoon, recorded it that weekend, and like a week before we released it, we put it all together and threw it on the album. So yeah,
and thing to look forward to.
I guess I'll chime in on the other part of that. The song's called 13 because that is the amount of takes we finished. That was the 13th take. It's basically what you hear.
Nice.
It was just him and I rock and rolling. I'm doing my thing, he's doing his thing, but it was together. And it was like, all right, let's just do this. We got to nail it.
Yeah, because it was a live off the floor recording. Like we didn't single track that one. So yeah, that was both of us tracking at the same time. So
we had a 4-hour rehearsal earlier that day as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, my pipes were
exhausted.
A little bit. They never fully dropped down, but I was like, I wasn't sounding. I was like, ugh, I don't feel this sucks. Like
it's kind of my superpower.
It's kind of the best. I don't worry about it. But
I know that day I was like, shoot, I suck. I want to get the hell out of here. But then we just kept running it, and it friggin' turned out. We were happy with that take, and we were like, boom, 13.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Nice,
and nice. I like what you keep using film, live off the cutting room floor, live off the studio floor. It's when you just like take the scraps, take the bits and pieces, and you're just like, yeah, we're using this. This is good enough. I love that.
Yeah. And there's some sort of energy that you get off of like a live performance, right? So yeah, it's nice to have those as well. I love when bands do that. It's like either a studio session or whatever, but those are always good to listen to, right? So
yeah.
Do you think subconsciously you could hear when something's too perfect? I kind of imagine that. Like I would never tell you like this sounds too
I
perfect,
think so.
But my brain might.
Yeah. I think I was feeling that with that last song, like the one with all the harmonies again, that with too many harmonies, there's something that sounded like too, like not, you couldn't replicate it live. And that was my concern. So it's like getting too perfect, but at the end of the day, the way that it got mixed and everything, it sounded great. So, I mean, there are those times where you feel like that, but you work around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking in terms of recording, like, again, live off the floor, like you get that slight human imperfection
Yeah.
in, you know, whatever, every part of it. And
that
that,
for
like,
me,
sorry.
No, dude, no. That for me is what rock and roll is about, though.
Totally.
Like, it can't be perfect. You listen to all the old school stuff, like there's mistakes everywhere. I can hear all kinds of stuff. That's what I like. I like it. That's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts. So shit happens and it's like, all right, roll with it.
I just think that these days there's a standard to like production quality that not everybody digs those little or understands that the imperfections, how they add in their little tasty ways. But I also love that. Have that little bum note in there and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. There's a lyric by Conor Oberst in one of his songs, Road to Joy, and it's I could have been a famous singer if I had someone else's voice, but failures always sounded better, so let's fuck it up, boys, and make some noise. And he is a famous singer. He started Saddle Creek Records. He's the frontman of Bright Eyes, and so it's either always the authenticity and the rawness of musicianship and of poetry and of the coming together that it can bring. It's a beautiful thing to yearn for, and also when the audience knows that that's on purpose, it's like a little Easter egg, because someone who doesn't know what they're listening for could be like, oh, this is shitty music. It's like, no, don't you understand the satire of it all? Don't you understand the musician's mind? You know what I mean?
It's for the scholars. Only the scholars pick that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No. Yeah.
I have the sense suddenly you guys have like a gritty sort of sound, right? Like it's hard rock, but it's got that sort of grunge influence. Like you can feel it, and like everything musical is like it's all robotic now, right? It's all computers, and like not everything, but you know,
no, I hear
pop
you,
music in particular, right? Like there's like a space, like there's a nostalgia to the sound that you bring, and obviously again it's like fresh and new and like you're doing new stuff, but there's a sound that isn't, it's not like it was ubiquitous at a time. It was the sound of music, of a genre of music at least, and now it's like it's not there, but you're like it's there with you. And I think it's just like I had this revelation that there's like this expansive like opportunity for that sound to reemerge, or like a grittier, like more honest sound to reemerge. And I'm excited for you. And there's no question there's someone else. Say something, please.
Well, I was, you essentially, that sound is essentially personifying sonic grit and technical musicianship, which is what, in your own words, is your sound.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the whole vintage modern that we play around when we describe our tunes too, right? Because that is kind of the thing we feel that's unique, is that it does pull on that nostalgia. That's the whole point, right? Like I agree that like hip hop is overproduced and like it loses some soul, some authentic feel when you listen to some of those songs. And not to rip on that at all, but you know, just saying. And I think that's something that we can add. Like there is that nostalgia vibe that I like that we still bring. So
you know what? I just remembered what I've kind of been losing this whole time. I've been like, like just can't remember. But we're actually, what I like is that why it comes across that way is because we're doing this stuff. Like we don't like to tamper. I hate to tamper with any vocals or auto tuning, anything like that. Like he's playing all the stuff on the guitar. Usually they're in sequence. It's not like we're piecing too much together. Maybe some things are pieced up a little bit, but we like to do run throughs and we like to use the best takes. We used to, you know, if we want to change something, we do it ourselves.
I'll even argue with you on that. I think one of the cool things is that we are unpracticed in some cases, like uplifting off of this EP. I think we were doing demo takes vocally for you, and you nailed that in like your third take. Some of the choruses you hit, it was like the third take, and that was like, that's it. That's cut, paste, we're good.
You know? There is a little.
It wasn't over rehearsed, but it was like it had that rawness to it, right?
Yeah, that's because I don't like to waste any time. I like to get in there and start rocking, and so do you, dude.
Yeah.
We're always usually ready. That's why with uplifting, I was a little, because I always want to put the right thing. Like I want to make this guy proud. You know what I mean? My
For
boy,
sure.
my boy.
For sure.
I want to make him proud. So I want to do the right thing. I gotta be as good as I can be, because this guy sends me some of the craziest, coolest stuff, and he writes some of the sickest shit I've ever heard. So
That's amazing. I'm a firm believer that creativity comes, like, it's not outside the box thinking, it's inside the box thinking. Like it's what using the tools that you have, like in a creative way.
Mm.
And
utilizing that the proper way, for sure.
yeah, and so like insisting on having like the you know, for all intents and purposes, the raw vocals or the raw takes done right. You guys ever think about like really going for it and doing like an 8-track recording, or like really limiting yourselves?
Like what, doing like a full album, like size, or
sure, whatever. Not like,
or just recording with an 8-track.
Oh,
I
thought you said 8 tracks, and then I was like, is it 8-track or is it 8 track?
No, yeah, I know what you're saying, and like
yeah,
I think
I don't.
that would take a little bit more practice to adapt to. That would be a cool thing to take on, like as a project. But yeah, I mean, like Foo Fighters did that with I think Back and Forth was the album. Wasting Light, that's the album. Yeah, they did it all analog in the, you know, the digital standard world of music, and that record was wild. So who knows? Maybe we would try and mess around with that in the future. See if that did do something.
Yeah, I'm always down. I think we try kind of that method, like where we like the live off the floor, the first record. That's kind of that method, right? It's like
the intent is there.
The song 13 we just did. If you know, if it was an 8-track, you know, it would have wasted some tape, but we eventually did it together, right?
Yeah.
So we pulled it off that way, but it does have a different, I guess, unique sound to it as well.
Yeah.
So
you're for sure there in spirit already, like the way your approach already sounds. That's why I'm an idiot for music. I wouldn't think of that otherwise. Like it really like sparked that concept. So I was just like, would you ever, you know, like really like go deep? But that's all. Adriana has something important to say.
Well, no, I was just thinking about like people had to like to do filming and editing and like rendering would take days and days, and when things were only analog, that was like the only way it was. So for us, it's not insulting to say like, oh, let's strip ourselves of everything and just go back to this, but it's almost like, no, you can use what we have, honor what advances technology has brought us to, but approach those advances with the same original intent. And again, that's what you're doing. And utilizing what you have to make things great with that intent. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was even just gonna like kind of segue off that on the same topic ish, but like, you know, that vinyl's made this huge comeback in the past few years.
Oh, even since like 2010.
Right, and I think it's a little funny that we listen to these digitally recorded records on an analog system.
It's strange, but it's the nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. But when you throw on like a classic album on a vinyl, you know, it sounds something else. It sounds really great.
Yeah.
So
use the advances we have.
Yeah.
Just play around with them a little bit.
Yeah, right? That's right.
Yeah. And I do want to just touch back. Sonically Ignorant, great album. Great, whatever. Sonic Ignorance, right? Matt said it first. He's sonically ignorant.
Oh, the name.
Oh, see that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd like cool. Liner credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're stealing that for sure. We'll give you credits, but we're stealing that for sure.
Yeah, steal it.
Well, we're gonna you'll definitely have like a producer's credit or something in there. Or writing credit, sure.
Yeah, I want royalties. I want checks for pennies.
You'll get your pennies.
You want that big penny pad.
Pink slips.
You'll get your pennies.
Or you'll get your pennies, buddy. We'll make sure.
All right.
So,
squaresies.
I do want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
or whatever else it brings. But together, live animals, you're personifying the sound of sonic grit, allowing room for vocals, allowing things to be clean, allowing things to be raw, authentic, to hit hard, to know when to pull back. You know your audience quite well. You seem like very talented individuals.
Thank you.
When you come together, do you guys kind of have a mission statement as live animals? Because you're individuals, but you kind of come together under this one personality that is live animals. And with that, what do you try to bring as a vision with your music? And it doesn't have to be one.
Can it be cliche that
Yeah,
just
that's even
this
better.
love and passion for music that everybody shares, that it doesn't need to be such a deep thing? Like, we don't have this like political approach to our music, or it's just this, we love music and we want to share music we think is pretty good. We are passionate about what we write. We want to bring that to share with people that also like this same music as us. And I think that's enough to just sharing creativity and sharing art with people, especially in local scenes. That seems like it's kind of dying out right now. You don't like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's such a huge thing. And yeah, I think that's the biggest mission.
Yeah, you're trying to mind that gap, rebuild that gap. Probably it's
Sure,
a sense of
yeah.
yearning within yourself too, because both of you would love live shows. Why don't you want that to always be sustained? Right?
Exactly.
You're
Why
kind
is that not, more a part of our culture right now? It's
precisely.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you're
Does
kind of like the
Spencer-
ambassadors. Sorry.
Does Spencer speak on your behalf?
Nice catch. I was gonna allow it, but I will dive in. I'm gonna dive in. Dive away,
Oh
bud.
no, we were gonna do both, one at a time here.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, good. I think I'm ready for my part.
Line.
Is it time for the show? Line. This guy goes line.
No, just Spencer, but
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I try to write. Basically, I write lyrically and stuff that's coming from me, and I try not to politically take too big of stances on stuff. Look, there's a lot of deeper meaning behind what I'm saying. Like, it's more, really have to look into it. All things will connect themselves together, and I sneak things in like you wouldn't expect. So it's not very obvious on the surface. But if I were to tell people exactly what everything meant, there would be a lot less fun and mystery. I like to keep it that. I like to leave people their own space to
Interpret.
it. Exactly.
yeah,
Mine.
100%.
I agree
I think-
wholeheartedly.
I think people kind of do misinterpret that question when I do ask it, because a vision isn't necessarily political, and it isn't necessarily something that you picket outside on
Sure,
on
yeah.
protest. It's something that comes from your heart. So a vision is something as simple as, I want people to hear good music. That's my vision for my thing. And so I think what you guys are doing is wonderful. It's
Thank you.
exactly what you need to be doing. Yeah.
I have
Keep doing it.
a question and then an immediate follow-up question. The question: what are your political opinions? Immediate
To each their own.
Immediate follow-up. How can people find local shows? Like, I think people who have fallen out of that loop and aren't aware of what's going on may want to engage but have no idea how to. Like, where can people find out about local shows and what's going on?
Best way is it's not my favorite, because social media is not the best, but it's the best to keep yourself updated on what's going on, because there's A Minor is a company that we work with, that they put on shows. Like, they book at Sneaky D's and Hard Luck. And it's just the best way. Like, you follow a band, you see what they're doing, you follow another band, you see what they're doing. You start to see like this continuity between who's playing shows together, and that's just the best way to keep updated and see what's going on, because otherwise, like, it seems like that's what venues are using as their primary marketing and promo tool, right? So
it's smart to follow venues then too.
Yes, definitely.
Oh yeah, follow the venues. I'd say get out there, go check some shows. Once you find a band, then you like that band, they're going to have other shows with other bands. You're going to find them through those bands. I also like the Now magazine, that free magazine all around Toronto and GTA. Right in there, every page has, okay, you're going to see, well, I don't know if they still do. I haven't grabbed one for like a month or two or maybe more. But usually...
So you're not up to date, is what you're trying to say.
I didn't say I'm up to date on Now magazine. I just said that Now magazine sometimes, and used to, and more than likely still does, have those, you know, what is it called? Ads, whatever, the bills for the shows. They're gonna tell you exactly what you're gonna see, who's gonna be playing that night. I don't know. Get out there and rock and roll, people.
Google alerts too.
Yeah, Google alerts.
Set up Google alerts.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you like go around asking people to call you the Pterodactyl, or do you just like get that naturally?
That's so funny. I know I never did. I was dubbed.
Untrue.
Dubbed. I've been dubbed by this guy and probably Harley.
Literally one vocal session, he just hit this note that was unhuman, and I was like, "You're the Pterodactyl, man!" Like that was disgusting.
And if I go,
and he loved it, and he's like, "You're gonna only call me this ever." Ever.
That's bull. That's a bull. That's
You'll
bull.
all refer to me as this from now on.
Trust me.
That's how it went.
You can tell in his voice when he's lying. It goes high and low. It's like this crazy thing. No, but trust me, when I'll be in the booth and I'll do something, sometimes if it's too gritty and I'm just like, it should be cleaned up a little bit. Yeah. Cheers, buddy. If it's too gritty and should be cleaned up, he'll usually say, "Okay, less Pterodactyl." You know what I mean? I'll be like, "All right, I'll leave him behind for a minute."
I like that though. It's like, because now he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When he's flying too high, I'm like, take it down.
Yeah.
Fly away from the sun, bud. Take it down.
So excellent. Does Spencer have a nickname? A secret nickname?
My buddy.
Oh, that's adorable. We'll leave it there.
Right?
Buddy.
Hey, so we know about January 29th at Sneaky D's. Are there any other shows coming up?
We're kind of in the market right now for other shows, but after that show. So we don't want to leave too much time in, maybe playing another show, but potentially another city or somewhere, another location, so we can keep things fresh.
Yeah, we kind of just got this contact for the Absinthe Club. Absinthe Club.
Absinthe, yes.
That's it. Okay, I'm choking on
Absinthe
words.
Club, Absinthe.
In Hamilton, yeah. So we're gonna check that out. Hopefully, book something up in February, March. We'll see what they've got open, and hopefully 2022 is going to be a banger year.
Yeah,
get some good shows going.
So for now, all roads lead to Sneaky D's January 29th.
All of them.
I'm guessing 7:07 p.m.
7:07.
That's probably going to be something like that. We'll be we're headlining the show. We're going to have our buddies band and maybe two others, something like that. So we're going to choose for ourselves the best time slot, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be the last one up or the first one up, but definitely come check all the bands prior to 7:07 start. Sneaky D's. It's going to be on fire that night. No chairs allowed. No chairs.
No chairs.
No chairs.
No
or
chairs,
we'll personally see them all to the dumpster.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of course. So again, thank you so much, Spencer and Andrew, for being on the Audio Museum podcast. You can find Live Animals online on Instagram at Live Animals Group on Instagram, or
Live.animals. Live.animals, yeah, on Insta.
Okay. And
Facebook's Live Animals Group. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And on all social media platforms, you can find our newly released EP Epiphany.
Okay.
You spell that because it's got a funky speller, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's left bracket, lowercase e, lowercase p, right bracket, and then IPHANY, all lowercase.
So Epiphany, but the EP is separated because it's
right.
Because
it's an EP.
And again, that's for the scholars.
And it's our epiphanal EP, right? So
yeah, of course.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I thought it was like such an interesting, like, oh, that's really cool. Like, that's very original. And then people are like, why are there brackets? I'm like,
why aren't there brackets in other?
Come on, guys.
Missed opportunity.
CP, come on.
You should just steal other famous album names, but put brackets in them.
Yeah.
We
actually wrote this. As you can see,
Live Animals, brackets, Led Zeppelin 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. It was really, really great to meet you too.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, guys. This was fun. This was a good time.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was amazing. Adriana, thank you so much. Matt, my wonderful cousin. Great to see you again.
I have to like you.
Yeah, this guy has to know me and like my stuff. Yeah, but it sounds like it's authentic, which is good. You're a great actor.
See you at Christmas.
No, but hey, great to see you both. Thanks a lot. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Of course. Okay. Have a great night, guys.
You too. Take care. Have a good one.
Take
It's
care.
love.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.